I'm here with Laura Ames, licensed clinical social work at Life of Purpose. I'll ask you some questions about career development.
Okay.
And so I guess first we'll start with family members. What do your family members do, and how has that influenced you going down this path?
So out of the six of us, interestingly, we sort of all split. Three went into finance and are accountants, and the other three of us, I became a licensed clinical social worker. My sister became a physician's assistant, and my mom was a nurse.
Okay, so you see some like medical and helping professions and some finance.
Right.
Okay, cool. Any important role models you've had growing up that's influenced your career choices?
When I first was looking to go into counseling, it was initially geared a little bit more towards high school because that was an age, those teenage years were difficult for me. And I had an algebra teacher who, Mr. Pratt, who I still remember, and he was so much more than a teacher that I think the way that he carried himself and related to people, that was always a positive role model that I had.
Okay, and you said you had your tumultuous high school years, and that personal experience made you want to work in the field of counseling and helping and specialize, at least at first, in that age range?
Yep, I initially wanted to work in that age range, and then I took a little turn and started to think I wanted to teach psychology, and then I decided counseling would be more interesting to me. And until I got into grad school, that was when I started really thinking, if I'm working with kids and teenagers, am I going to be able to leave work at home? I knew that the field would be stressful. Whenever you're working with people and trying to help people who are struggling, I knew that was going to be somewhat stressful. And I was able to recognize that for myself, working, I think, with children or teenagers, it was going to just be significantly more difficult, and so I decided to go the route of adults.
Okay, so some like personal awareness influenced what population you work with.
Absolutely.
Excellent. This kind of set of questions is about values.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever work with clients whose values conflict with your own?
Yes.
An example.
So a couple of times I've had clients who are very racist or homophobic, which those are things that are personal to me. So there are a lot of values I would say it's not difficult for me to separate myself from when we aren't in agreement. But with those two particular issues, it takes a lot of my own personal awareness, and I have to reflect on what caused this for this person, where is this stemming from, and really getting to know them on a deeper level and where it evolved from helps me separate out any kind of feelings about it.
Knowing the client on a more personal, deeper level, you can separate the things that are kind of unlikable, racism, those types of things at face value, it's kind of hard to deal with.
Right.
Gotcha. Do you have any personal values that kind of led you towards the counseling path?
Probably. I've always leaned in the direction of kind of being the champion of the misunderstood. So I think that my wanting to go into addiction, a lot of it was feeling as though this population, so many people slap a label on and don't actually really know anyone on a deep level or look at it, and they judge, and the resources aren't there. So I think my just value of wanting to help the underdog kind of helped lead me specifically into addiction. And I think just my empathy knowing again the tumultuous teen years and the help that I received, wanting to be able to share that with somebody else.
Oh, that's awesome that you kind of value advocating for like marginalized populations.
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. Let's see, what kind of like trait and factor theory? What value or what characterological traits do you think therapists need to have, or that makes a good therapist?
I think, of course, being empathetic, being able to communicate effectively despite the difficult topics that might come up. I think being open-minded and non-judgmental, because you hear a lot of things that typically aren't talked about.
Right.
You hear about them, and a lot of personal awareness as well.
Open-mindedness, communication, personal awareness are all kind of characterological traits that are important for a therapist to have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what are some personal traits that you think that you have?
I definitely think that I am empathetic and am aware of myself and can look at things from. Can we delete that part? I'm getting totally lost.